Hey guys, and welcome to another review of Samurai Jack. This week we're doing Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 6. So for those of you who haven't been keeping up, this is a very reference-heavy episode, so watching the first few seasons might make it a lot easier to understand. So, if you guys watched the last episode, basically Ashi is on search for Jack because he disappeared believing that he killed a bunch of children in the last episode. She encounters several people in his past that have essentially been saved by Jack in some way, shape, or form, and now they owe their lives to Jack, and they basically show how he's defended and made the world that much of a better place just by being around, even not stopping Aku. So first we see a kind of race of Snuffleupagus-like people who were tortured and ridden by these creatures with these electrical rods, and Jack comes in and basically defeats the creatures and saves them. The next group of people is one of the more famous episodes in the past seasons, which is the Archer episode, where there are three archers that are blind that essentially use sound to locate their enemy, and they are cursed to defend this tower that has one wish, and Jack manages to get past them and release them from their curse, and he uses the wish to destroy the tower and save them instead of using it to get back to the past. They reveal actually that this magic was Aku's doing, so Jack actually not using it and using his sword to stop it and save them from the curse was actually the much better choice. So they have a statue dedicated to Jack in their city, and it's a very nice statue. It has like plants growing all around it, butterflies, which are really nice. It's a very nice scene, and it goes to show like the beauty that Jack has like offered the world. Same thing with the like the Snuffleupagus mammoth-like people. They have a home that's like now happy and stuff because of them, or because of Jack. The next group of people we see is the rave scene, which also is one of the more well-known scenes in the original series, which is basically Jack goes to a rave and saves people from an evil DJ in the original series, and in this series Ashi visits them and does this kind of cringy dance thing with the rest of the rave. This scene, it kind of bothered me just a little bit just because I felt like it was pandering, but it's not like these scenes of reflection on the old series aren't pandering in their entirety, or at least Gendy kind of showing off that, you know, I remember what happened in the last series, here's a few things that kind of retained their image throughout their story, or, you know, retained their sort of consistency and continuity that they still exist. So after the rave scene, essentially she gets to a pond in the middle of nowhere, and she has a flashback to when the suit of black soot or whatever it is was placed upon her, and you find out that her mother dipped her into this darkness that I guess Aku was born from, and she was forced to bathe in it, and it gave her like the black costume she wears. So she spends the night kind of scrubbing it off with hard rocks and in a pond and making a whole new costume for herself out of leaves, and now that is her new design and look. And it's a very nice scene, it's very well drawn. The whole nudity of it all was very, you know, Adult Swim, which was something nice that we couldn't see before. It's not anything too spectacular. They're not trying to be too blatant with the nudity, and it's not too strongly put or too exaggerative. It's just the right amount without feeling too awkward. But besides all of that, basically Ashi gets to where the samurai is, where Jack fought the samurai, who is a totally different dude who now runs a bar and is an old man, and basically explains how he was saved by Jack and taught by Jack, and he kind of honored Jack's ways because how cool Jack was. And he goes to show he shows off some of his old moves, his turkey carve and the monk dunk and whatnot, some of his famous old moves that we kind of saw when we first saw him in the first few seasons. But in this bar we actually see a lot of different characters who, some of them actually have references to old episodes despite not even saying anything about it. One character is there's a Spartan in the bar, and if you guys remember in one of the old episodes, there's a episode not unlike the movie 300 where Jack helps a 300 Spartan-like characters kind of defend themselves from waves and waves of robots, and we see one of those Spartans in this episode, although wearing a different color. He has the same exact design. But then we also see a Popeye-like character who says that Jack beat him up, and then a bunch of little minions that have gotten beaten up by Jack. And then we see Demongo show up, who is a claimer of souls, who's also in the original series, but he essentially comes and leaves in a matter of seconds. I hope he comes back, because in the original series he could summon the souls of enemies to fight once he's defeated them, and there's a lot of fallen bad guys that might want a second chance at Jack that Damongo could offer to them, which would be really cool. So what ends up happening is Ashi learns from all of these characters. Jack saved their lives in some way, shape, or form, or kind of gotten beaten up by him and just shown how badass he is. And then she leaves the bar and runs into like a small figure shrouded in shadows, who asks if Ashi is Jack's friend, who she says yes to, and then she points Ashi in the right direction. And this character has the voice of Mandy from Grim Adventures, which was really funny because she also has like the same kind of design. But besides that, there's been speculation of who this character could be. A lot of people have said that it's the child that Jack saves in like one of the final episodes, where the child gains the samurai way or whatever from witnessing Jack kick so much ass. But there's been who knows, we haven't exactly gotten any info, just the fact that she knows where Jack was. So Ashi goes and finds Jack in the middle of this desolate kind of graveyard with several tombs, and she sees the samurai that has been following Jack, which proves also that this thing following Jack was real. It was a physical ghost. It wasn't like just something messing with Jack's head. So I'm assuming since this thing was following him around and driving him crazy, that is also the reason why he has visions of like the kids that are dead and his family and all those people that he believes he let down. But besides that, we eventually get to the samurai explaining, this ghost samurai explaining that Jack doesn't honor his ancestors. He's failed too many times, and now it's time for him to basically kill himself. And Jack is about to do it, but Ashi manages to stop him and basically tell him that, oh man, those kids those kids are alive, and you saved a lot of people. The kids from the last episode, those blue furry little monsters that were attacking him, none of them were actually dead. And he uses that to basically fight back. He mentally manages to resist the temptation of killing himself and fight back against the samurai. And what ends up happening is he stops and kills the ghost samurai, and then several other samurai that were floating around in the area return to their graves, which makes me question, if he did that, does that mean that Jack is still gonna have a problem dealing with the honor that he's kind of lost, and now he's never going to get that back? Or is he just okay with, he's done what he's done and those things have happened and here we are? I don't think that the insanity of what he's dealt with should just go away, essentially. I don't think that that crazy just goes away because of one mental battle. It's several that would take, you don't just stop seeing things. It's a process. But we're only on episode 6, so anything could happen. So we besides Jack and Ashi, we have a very important character who is still alive. It's Scaramouche, the assassin, the top assassin from the very first episode. And essentially we see that his head is still alive. What he does is he travels basically to go to Aku and tell him that Jack doesn't have his sword anymore. And we see him in several kind of compromising moments, which is really funny. He's trying to get onto a boat and he can't because he doesn't have a body, so he pays some dude to basically ride into the boat. And when he gets into the boat, the dude takes him off his head and puts him on the ground, and the actual dude's head looks like a penis. And Scaramouche makes a joke about it, which is pretty funny. It's obviously, since we have Adult Swim, it's like an Adult Swim kind of joke. It's just it's a little rated, it's a little rated adult or rated R, however you want to put it. It's not something that kids should see, and it's kind of funny that that's how they would use the rated R rating for the comedy. It's not what I expected and I kind of liked it. So Scaramouche is on the boat and he tries to call Aku, and he doesn't get a chance because Huckleberry Hound and 2 of his friends attack him, and because he's being kind of a dick, and he gets thrown off the boat and ends up floating in the middle of the ocean. So we don't know where he's going to eventually get back on land, but I'm sure he's still on the move and stuff. And that's kind of where the episode ends, with Jack and Ashi kind of fighting off these monsters and Jack deciding finally to get his sword back. Now Scaramouche is in the ocean, still trying to get a hold of Aku and tell him that Jack doesn't have the sword, so it's kind of a race for time now, for Scaramouche to get to where he's going and Samurai Jack to get to where he's going. I really enjoyed this episode. It had a lot of nice scenes, and we see a lot of very, very nice references, with the archers and the mammoth men, or the snuffleupagus, or whatever they may be, and even the rave. The rave was a little cringy, but it was to an old episode that a lot of people enjoyed, so I don't blame them for putting it in there. I really enjoyed this episode, guys, and I think it was pretty good. This has been the Samurai Jack review with the Cube. I will talk to you guys later. See ya.